So that's normally the trigger for a move to intensive care.
And in those conditions, Dr. Morgan, what is done?
Well, intensive care really offers two important things in those conditions. Firstly, close monitoring. We can monitor the amount of oxygen in your blood second by second, your blood pressure second by second too. And the other important aspect then is, of course, treatment. When simply breathing in more oxygen is not enough, there are other ways that we can help the body by pushing air in, either through tight-fitting masks, for example, or through machines like breathing machines and ventilators.
We understand, Dr. Morgan,
this could
that at
end
the
up being
moment
a longer
the Prime Minister
video
is not on a
as we're going
ventilator.
500
What is the assessment that is made about those who should be?
The reason why people with COVID-19 need to go onto a ventilator, it's really a holistic assessment about the trajectory of their illness, the amount of oxygen in the blood, how they are breathing lumps and feelings.
All this
Certainly, having oxygen amounts in your blood low, despite those other treatments.
But there's still quite a lot of things. For example, suffering from a severe illness. So there are a number of interventions that we will discover over the next few months, which will lead to beneficial.
And these cars are just passing, it's just gonna speed up. Get these guys over
machines and expensive drugs, but it's also very simple technology. And the things that really make a difference are often these simple things, and of key importance are, of course, the staff working there who give time.
Today is the 250th anniversary of William Wordsworth's birth. This morning, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, who's a patron of Wordsworth Grasmere, formerly known as the Wordsworth Trust, has recorded a poem especially for the Today programme to mark the occasion. This was made before news of the Prime Minister's illness. Here's Prince Charles reading an extract from lines composed a few miles above Tintern Abbey, visiting the banks of the Wye during a tour. Live version of Tintern Abbey.
I know we're not really that empty, but I felt like stopping, so.
Because, fun enough, I know that rather wonderful area around Tintern Abbey, up the Wye Valley, and I can understand so well the way in which with us, but a lot of other people. The power of the landscape to move is something rather profound. And I find myself struggling, for instance, to paint a watercolor. But in a strange way, when you sit and observe it very carefully, you observe the movement of the clouds, the light, everything else on the landscape. You extraordinary thing is that you almost feel the landscape, you almost feel its heart and soul, as it were. And to me, Wordsworth captures so well the power of the landscape to me in a profound and extraordinary way. And that is why, of course, landscapes and why we need to preserve them. We need to understand that man working in harmony with nature is absolutely crucial. So this poem ends in this extraordinarily moving and special way. That on a wild, secluded scene impress thoughts of the day has come when I again repose here under this dark sycamore and view these plots of cottage ground, these orchard tufts, which at this season with their unripe fruits are clad in one green hue and lose themselves mid groves and copses. Once again I see these hedgerows, hardly hedgerows, little lines of sportive wood run wild, these pastoral farms, green to the very door, and wreaths of smoke sent up in silence from among the trees, with some uncertain notice, as might seem, of vagrant dwellers in the houseless woods, or of some hermit's cave, where by his fire the hermit sits alone. These beauteous forms, through a long absence, have not been to me as is a landscape to a blind man's eye, but oft in lonely rooms and mid the din of towns and cities, I have owed to them, in hours of weariness, sensations sweet, felt in the blood and felt along the heart, passing even into my purer mind, unremembered pleasure, such perhaps as have no slight or trivial influence on that best portion of a good man's life. Another gift of aspect more sublime is a mood in which the burden of the mystery, in which the heavy and the weary weight all this unintelligible world is lightened. That serene and blessed mood in which the affections gently lead us on, until the breath of this corporeal frame and even the motion of our human blood almost suspended, we are laid asleep in body and become a living soul, while with an eye made quiet by the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, we see into the life of things.
The Prince of Wales reading an extract from Tintern Abbey to mark the 250th anniversary of the birth.
Subject of the action, but the object.
Miss this turn.
He becomes someone to whom things are done, not someone who's in control anymore. This is the dual meaning of the passion of Christ, the suffering that he has to face, but also that he submits to the powerful forces that overtake him. Holy Week and Easter are incredibly challenging psychologically as well as spiritually for those who follow its events and pray through the story, not least because Christ's story faces us with a human passion story, that there are weeks when we are confined, when thoughts of death come uncomfortably close, when we are at the mercy of forces beyond our control. The horror and beauty of the Passion story find echoes in the horror and beauty of these days, filled as they are with the chaos
Get onto
and
this road
distress
and
of
see
grief,
where this takes us,
alongside
eh?
the kindness and generosity of so many. This week, as last week, we will also find us grateful for the spectacular courage and resilience of so many workers and neighbours. Under such pressure, even on a screen or over a phone. Our stubborn, messy humanity is finding new ways to be itself.
And that was Thought for the Day with the Reverend Lucy Hopkins. Brings us to 10 to 8.
The former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has coordinated a 165-strong group, including 92 former presidents and prime ministers, to call for billions more pounds to be spent in the fight against coronavirus. He wants the G20 leaders to set up a task force and to focus new international funds on vaccines, treatments and help for health systems in the developing world. There should also be debt interest relief for the poorest countries. I asked Gordon Brown how the group decided what to prioritise. The interview was recorded before we learned that Boris Johnson had been taken into intensive care.
This is obviously a worrying time for every family in the country. People don't know when this is going to end, as well as they don't know what's going to happen to them and what the future holds. But I think people do realise that this is not just an economic, but it's a health problem that is a global health problem.
Yeah.
And unless we can show we're on top of it, unless
Red
people have
light.
got confidence that we've got this under control, then I think people will continue to worry. And that's why really there are 3 initiatives that are part of this. One is that the search for the vaccine and the cure has got to be given support from every country. 8 billion is what is required, I'm told by the experts, Jeremy Farrar in this country and many others. Now that's a pound or so per person in the world, a price worth paying, but it has to be coordinated and it has to be given resources. The second problem is we lack capacity for testing equipment, ventilators, basic medical equipment. And instead of this cutthroat competition where people are outbidding each other, we need to have a plan to increase capacity right across the world. And I think that could be done as well. And the third thing is resilience. I think we know that if we don't act in countries that are poorer countries that have got inadequate health systems, poor safety nets, then this virus will hit them very badly, and then it will return to haunt us in a second or a third wave of this virus in our country. So we could be relaxing restrictions here, we could be saying that the worst is over, and then suddenly as travel starts, tourism starts, as of course trade starts, this could come back to hit us again. So to protect ourselves locally, we have actually to act globally.
Aren't there efforts already going internationally? The race to find a vaccine and treatments, and also to increase capacity when it comes to making more ventilators, more personal protective equipment?
Yes, our government's doing what it can, other governments are doing what they can. But the global coordination of this is not good enough, not enough finance behind it, not enough building of capacity where it comes to testing equipment and ventilators, not enough concern to stop the spread of the disease and a second round taking place. And if you think back to 2009, when we had the G20 in London, when we had the global recession, we had to be able to say, we will do whatever it takes. And so we underpinned the global economy with $1 trillion of resources. In 2013-14, the Europeans said, we will do whatever it takes to save the euro, and they did. We have to be able to say that we will do whatever it takes. Now, all the institutions that are working around the world can only say at the moment, we will do whatever we can. A government saying that, IMF saying that, World Bank, World Health Organization. We need to bring people together so that by our collective actions, we are able to say we will do whatever it takes, and we
But
can
whatever
take the
it takes
actions that will bring us
involves
under control.
huge amounts of money, doesn't it? You're talking about, what, $35 billion in order to support health systems in poorer countries. But if you look at what the UK government is spending here, getting into debt in order to support workers' jobs, are they going to be willing to spend money on health services abroad?
Well, the UK is probably spending more than 35 billion to try to ease this crisis. But when you take the world economy as a whole, it's an 80 trillion economy. The 8 billion for the health initiative is very small, as I said, about £1 per person.
Are there dangers for the world economy? Some economists think that we could be slipping into a depression.
Which is the usual way that recessions, that demand money slips away in the economy. It's a problem of supply. So even if we have demand in the
Whoopsie
economy,
daisy, we
20%,
smacked the
30%
car
of our
off
workforce
the-
is not there.
Give
We
that
can't
guy
supply
our
the economy.
insurance.
And so you need a coordinated
$1
approach.
a day.
And it needs to be global as well as national. I found with the financial crisis that if we had acted on our own in Britain, it just simply wasn't enough. We had to persuade other countries to act with us. And if we're
This
going to see
trucker's
the kind of
driving real
rebound
slow.
that we need, and the resilience that is
Driving a little
required,
slow
then
there,
you need a
bud. What's
coordinated
going
approach to
on?
your monetary policy. You need a coordinated approach to fiscal policy, so many countries can do more than they're doing at the moment, and a coordinated approach of the central banks to help currency swaps and everything else. It's the coordination that I feel is missing at the moment. And it's not because individual countries are not trying their best. It's because we haven't brought people together to be able to say, we can now do whatever it takes, because everybody who's important in solving this problem is working together to do so.
Just looking at what's happening in this country, what are your thoughts about Boris Johnson?
Well, I wish him well, and it is really difficult, of course, when the Prime Minister, who people are looking to for leadership, is incapacitated in this way, and I hope that he can be able to continue to work and his health will be restored very quickly. I'm not interested in criticizing. I'm constructive.
Time, isn't it? As Labour leader.
Well, Keir Starmer's a brilliant man. He was a brilliant director of public prosecution. He's been brilliant as a member of Parliament. He'll be a brilliant leader of the Labour Party. And I can only wish him well. And I have talked to Keir, and I know that he, like me, is concerned most intimately at the moment about how we can end the tragedy of so many lives being lost, and how we can work together, all of us, to try to solve this immediate problem.
Gordon Brown, thank you for talking to us.
And it brings us to 3 minutes to 8 in time for the weather, which comes this morning from Susan Powell.
Very good morning to you. A rather quiet weather scene across the UK for the next few days, certainly for today, Wednesday and Thursday, where high pressure will bring us spinning. Just like
we got
winds
party
across
going on
England
here,
and Wales,
little disco.
there are afternoon highs, I think 17 or 18 degrees quite typically, but perhaps up to 20 in the southeast of England, so generally a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday. For Northern Ireland, again, a chilly start. We've seen a few spots down to 2 and 3 degrees overnight, but a lot of sunshine starts our day. A light breeze for Northern Ireland.
Get ourselves
More
a
cloud here
V8
through the
Scania.
afternoon, however, it will remain dry. Top temperature 13 or 14 degrees. For Scotland, again, a chilly start. A few pockets of frost, a little bit of mist in the south. Clear, I think, in the next few hours. Lots of sunshine through the morning. Come the afternoon, greyer skies to the north and west. The cloud filling in, so the best of sunshine will be to the south of the country. And I think our warmest spot somewhere like Glasgow, 14 degrees. Elsewhere, typically 12 or 13. It will.
The Shadow Health Secretary, Jonathan Ashworth, told Today that everyone's thoughts were with the Prime Minister.
He's the country's leader at this time, and we are rooting for him because he is our nation's Prime Minister, and we need him back leading the fight to beat this virus. But he's not just a politician, of course. This must be unimaginably awful for his loved ones.
President Macron of France said he hoped that Mr. Johnson would rapidly overcome this ordeal. President Trump said he'd offered the help of 2 biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies to Mr. Johnson's doctors, describing the Prime Minister as a good friend.
Chess. The process will be managed through a mobile app called Good Sam. Health professionals, pharmacists and local authorities can upload requests for help. Volunteers can then pick which task they want to complete in their local area. Volunteers are available to take on requests and mark themselves as on duty. They can help and temporarily pause. The system picks up immediately. And can help it from the phone groups and develop tokens suitable for work programs and
as well as the new Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer. President Macron of France said he hoped that Mr. Johnson would rapidly overcome this ordeal.
And we've heard from President Trump as well. He said he had offered the help of 2 biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies to Mr. Johnson's doctors, describing the Prime Minister as a good friend of his.
We're very saddened to hear that he was taken into intensive care this afternoon, and Americans are all praying for his recovery. He's been a really good friend. He's been really something very special, strong, resolute, doesn't quit, doesn't give up.
Now, in respect to the latest numbers, nearly 52,000 people have now tested positive for COVID-19.
motherfucking